really excited to kind of pick your brain. And if you are ready, we can just dive right into the questions.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Yeah. Obviously, Ashton and Lily Save the World just concluded its first season. First off, congrats. It was an awesome introduction to the series. I'm really hoping to see, obviously, more seasons coming down the line. How are you feeling kind of after the events of the finale? Were there any moments that, truly shocked you throughout the season?
Well, for the season finale, I'd say that me, along with all the rest of the cast, we were all very, very shocked when we read what was happening to my dear mother, Christine.
Mhm.
But it was very sad because I mean, we all love Jerry Hall. She's so funny. So definitely was a shock. But I think throughout the series as well, I was also shocked, but also kind of expected, eggs to come save the day. But I thought that was really fun.
I think everybody loves eggs. So when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did
I
kind
think
of pull through, everybody was like, yes. And then kind of bouncing off of obviously Candace's mother, dying or being murdered at the hands of obviously the Guardian. We all kind of, the audience was had a little part of us that were like, she's kind of in the way. But at the same time, when that happened, it was like, oh man, we didn't think how it would affect obviously the character because that's her mother. So we did kind of see that animosity between, Lily and Candace almost blaming her. Do you think that that was just like heightened emotions? Do you think there is kind of trouble in paradise? Can they get through this? And after the dust is settled, can Candace kind of realize that Lily couldn't have done anything obviously to save her mom?
I really think that in that moment, Candace, she just felt overwhelmed by emotions and very helpless in that moment. Obviously not being able to help her mom or do anything to really stop it. And I think she just, in that moment, it was very overcome with everything surrounding her and didn't really know how to react in a proper way or, who to blame because really there isn't many people to blame except for, you know, Guardian and a
Yeah,
little bit mom too, but yeah.
for sure. And obviously recently spoke with her co-star Samantha. We chatted a lot about Fort Well and just the fans' response to the pairing. Death and murder aside, why do you think, Lily and Candace work on the show and why the audience is really rooting for that relationship and was drawn to those characters pretty quickly as it started to unfold?
I mean, it's just because there's no really other relationship like us on TV right now. And I think that's really unfortunate, but it just goes to show that representation really does matter. And when people see it, it really, hits home. So I think it's really important that we have more of, these types of relationships and just show normal life, on screen. I think that's really important. And I'm really happy that everyone's really, excited about it too.
Right. Have you gotten to see any of the like fan art or fan fiction or anything like that? I know Samantha said that she does read it, but sometimes people are a little, they might be a little hesitant to read things about their characters, but definitely want to get your take on it and how that experience has been seeing just this social media aspect of it.
It's been insane, honestly. I'm overjoyed. I mean, I've never it's so cool because, seeing yourself in different art mediums, it's so fun. And same with all the edits and the fan fiction. I me and my sister, we grew up like really big directioners. So like my sister, I tried to make fan fiction. I didn't have the like I couldn't do it. But my sister, I used to write fan fiction, and I think it's so cool, and I really appreciate all the time and effort that the fans put into it because it does take time, and it's so cool because obviously I don't always see myself in the same light, so it's really nice, and I really appreciate all the love and support.
It's really an art, fan fiction. The people who kind of take the time to do that, and there's a lot of really talented people online just making all these posts and stories and kind of bouncing off of that. And obviously you recently joined Twitter, so you're new to this crazy world. It could be overwhelming, I'm sure. Has just the overall interactions been good? Hopefully people are being nice to you.
No, definitely. I've been having a lot of fun on there. It's been great, and everyone's been really nice to me so far, which I'm really happy about.
That's
But
good.
yes, I've heard, you know, Twitter can be a ruthless place, but I haven't been to that place yet. I don't intend to, but I think it's really nice, and I'm like not like I want to like a lot of tweets, but also at the same time, I don't want to like flood all my mutuals with just like Julia fan art. So it's kind of a tricky line, but I stalk. So trust me, I've probably seen it.
I know it's a Twitter. When Twitter first started, there wasn't that, like, if you like somebody's, tweet, it wasn't, popping up in other people's timelines. So it's always weird to like see that. So I can see where you're kind of hesitant, because
Mhm.
people do, it just throws it out there. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're not getting any of the bad side of Twitter, and hopefully you never experience that. We got some overzealous fans in terms of different fandoms, so we definitely are happy that all the fans have been great to you. We don't want to scare you away. And then obviously the show has a lot of Buffy references, which I'm here for that. Who isn't? I grew up watching Buffy. Someone recently compared the relationship between Candace and Lily to if like Buffy were to have dated Cordelia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show at all, but would you agree with that comparison? Would you think that it's like off by any chance or anything like that?
Well, I think it definitely, you know, makes sense because like off the top, you know, my character might have seemed a little bit tropey, and I still do fall into like I'm still like the popular mean girl, and I think the comparison it does make sense because it's like, you know, Monster Hunter versus, I mean, not versus, but with uh, mean girl, popular girl. But I think it's really cool. I mean, I'm loving all the Buffy references and that people are, you know, relating our show to that show. But I think it's really cool. Obviously, Candace and Cordelia are, you know, pretty different, but I think that it's cool that now we're living in an age where, you know, it's not crazy to see that like that relationship happen, and I'm really happy that, you know, it is because it's fun to see and people
I
like
feel like Cordelia was way meaner. So you at
yes,
least have
yes.
you have that. She's just ruthless. So at least you
Yeah,
have
that's what I was thinking too.
your character, and probably the character of Tate. I think they've probably seen the most growth throughout the show, and just kind of where they started and where they ended. So it's nice to see that there is progression and there's layers behind the character.
No, I'm really
And now, obviously, in the world of the digital age, what do you think is Candace's most frequently used emoji?
happy. I think that Candace, I think she's a fan of the skull emoji. I feel like she uses that a lot with, you know, an array of her different types of texts she sends out, whether it be to, you know, talking about something funny or talking about mom. Okay, no,
Yeah.
like post, not like now, because I feel like that's a little bit too
Yeah.
on the nose.
And
But
definitely by her contact info. It was just a little skull.
yeah, that's a little bit too dark. But or like I can see her like the with the uh I don't know emoji. I like that
Mhm.
one.
Frequently
Uh,
used for sure.
yeah.
And what do you think? Which episode did you think was the most challenging or fun to shoot? I know that your character has been in some interesting circumstances. And what was the most challenging or the most fun? You can kind of pick one or the other.
Mm, I think the most fun was the hair cocoons because those are just so fun. I mean, I came to set, I didn't, you know, have to worry about any wardrobe. Not that I love my wardrobe and I love wearing it. It was always a fun surprise opening my trailer. But we just, you know, wore like robes and just biker shorts and tank tops, and it was very warm. And I always felt super like it was a constant hug,
Yeah.
you know, for someone with like love language being touch. It was great. I just felt at home. But that was fun, and I just everyone was together, and it was a nice contrast of funny but also like serious and, you know, heartbreaking. But and you know, we had a great monster that episode, and yeah, that was fun. And
were you guys actually like suspended, or was it like was it resting on something in terms of like being in that kind of hair cocoon?
So we basically would step into it from behind, and there'd just be like people helping us get in, and there would be like just like apple boxes, just like wood boxes at the bottom that we
Mhm.
would kind of step onto, and then we could just kind of, we had our arms by our sides, or we could also have it up because we had enough space in the cocoon, but yeah, we were standing on something because no, at first I remember reading the script and being like, how are they doing this?
You're
And
like,
I
oh,
was,
we're gonna be just like swinging in a little pod, just hanging
yeah,
out.
like I really hope it's like, because at first my mind just immediately darted to like I mean like Bat style, you know, like upside down, but
No,
I
that
think
wouldn't have been fun.
yeah.
And obviously, as we eagerly await an announcement for another season, we're still crossing our fingers. What do you hope to see for your character in the future? Monsters aren't going away, as kind of the end of the first season concluded. So, can we kind of expect Candace to join in on fighting monsters, or where do you kind of see her going?
I would love to see her, because obviously it's up to the writers. They haven't told me anything yet, but I've tried, but they haven't. Pretty good reason. But as I was saying, I would love to see her go into like helping the monster duo. I remember being so excited to finally get attacked by a monster, and get involved in that aspect of the show. But I would love to do some more stuff, whether it be monster hunting or just interacting with monsters. But yeah. Uh,
Battling. Maybe some power. Maybe Candace gets some powers. That would be cool. Um,
I agree. I think
right.
that.
Let's just put that out into the
Yeah.
atmosphere, see if that goes somewhere. And obviously, if you could create a monster to defeat that plays off of your own fears in real life, like what kind of monster do you think would be coming after you that you'd have to like overcome?
Um, I'd say like I've always kind of not been the biggest fan of the dark. It's kind of juvenile, but like I feel like if there was a monster, it would just be like, whenever I go downstairs to get a snack in the middle of the night, as soon as I walk past the light switch, just turn it off, or as I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the kitchen or on the other side of the bedroom, just turning it off and off. That would just be really annoying and frightening.
I like a lot of noise and just light even when I'm sleeping. So like I always have my TV on, like I always have some sort of noise, whether it's a show or music or something. So I feel like I like if I was just in pitch black, I'd be right there with you and be like, is there someone
No,
walking in the corner? Like what is going
I'm
on?
the same exact way. I've always fallen asleep with something going on. Like when I was younger, I used to share a room with my sister, and we didn't get along when we were younger. So she would always be like, "Julia, it's your turn to turn off the lights," and I just wouldn't. I'd be like, "Okay," and then I just
Or
stay
leave
in
them
bed.
on. We're good.
I can sleep with the lights on. I have no problem with that.
So I like to throw in my signature question to all of my interviews. So if you're ready, I will throw it at you.
I'm excited.
All right. So now, if you were to construct a donut based off of Candace's personality, what kind of donut would it be and what toppings would be on it?
Okay, so I'm thinking. I'm thinking like a jelly filled.
Mm,
That's like my base donut. Okay, so we're thinking jelly filled, and then we're thinking jelly filled with like some sort of caramel coating that's hard, and then it had some like maybe some sprinkles on the top, but it's kind of like crunchy on the outside, and
gotta
then when
like
you
break it
break
to
it
get
open,
into the gooiness.
yeah,
I
some
like it. I dig it. I can't go
yeah,
wrong with any donut. I will
yeah,
try
exactly.
anything once. And now, what would you kind of say to people who haven't gotten a chance to watch the show yet? Why should they binge watch it? Why should they root for another season? Kind of give us a little elevator pitch of why this show is important to you.
Well, I think that the show really does a great job of having a little bit of something for everyone. I think that like the more you watch the show, the more you realize that there's certain elements that everyone can relate to and enjoy, and it's really filled with a lot. It has your action and sci-fi, but then it also has your kind of goofy, campy humor. But then it's also like then it has like the relationship love aspect, and I think it's a good show, and I think that it's a, a wider range of ages can enjoy it, especially if you enjoyed Buffy.
Mhm. You definitely have kind of all the age ranges covered, especially like hitting the nostalgia of older people like me and then hitting the younger people.
Mhm.
So I definitely can't wait to see what's next. I hope we get many more seasons. And if you don't have anything else to add, I think that kind of concludes the conversation for today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate our talk. I
You're
had a lot of fun.
welcome. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Nobody pranks you,
Yeah,
or
you
you
too.
prank them. Get ahead of the game. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, I
You're
hope you have a
welcome,
great day and
Julia.
take care.